So, Tony is finally here. Good to have you here, Tony.
Yeah. Hold on, guys.
Okay. I need to be sure you can hear Francis. Francis, could you just say hello so let me sure?
Yes, I heard him. I already greeted. Good evening, Uncle T.
Okay. So let me quickly introduce my guest. First, we have Odukwe Francis. He's an employability skill consultant. I hope I got that right.
Yes, you did.
Okay, and we also have Tony here. Give me a minute. So Tony is a business development and international trade expert, and Tony is actually going to be our lead for tonight's session. So Tony, Francis, you're welcome to Hotspot.
Thank you. It's quite an exciting experience having to be.
Okay. Tony, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, great. Okay. So are we good to go?
Yes, we are.
Just 1 minute.
Okay. So today we're talking about how to grow your personal income, and Tony is our chief expert on that matter for today's session on Hotspot. So let's just give him a few minutes to sort out one or two technical matters. You know, technology is very interesting.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, are we good?
Yeah, okay, guys, I think we can go.
Okay, I'm hearing a call back. Is your system on or something?
My computer, yes, it is.
Okay, that's why it's causing the call back.
Okay.
Okay, so for all the same, let's shoot. Hopefully, that's where we sort it out. So let's talk about how to grow your personal economy. Chief Francis, what do you think about that? You know, how can we grow our personal economy? Of course, we're facing, we know what the economy is like now, and there's a whole lot of recession. What you could buy in the market yesterday, you cannot buy stuff for the same value. So it's very obvious that it is important to know how to grow our personal economy. So what's your take on that?
Okay, so I was going to, you literally took the word out of my mouth because that's where I was going to start from. I wanted to speak to the issue of giving a background to the conversation, which of course refers to the situation of things, the economic challenge across board. A lot of people in this part of the world think it's an African problem or a Nigerian problem or a Ghanaian problem. I think it was sometime last week, I saw a video, right, that was made by some Ghanaian that I follow on social media, highlighting the fact that at that time, that the cost of commodities, especially foodstuff in the market, had just doubled. That is what I mean by doubled, is that what used to be 200 cedis was now 400 cedis. Do you understand that? So I was amazed. I thought that those kinds of things perhaps only happened in Nigeria. In fact, the Ghanaian situation was even more pathetic because, I mean, it was all over. I mean, overnight. It looks like it happened overnight. So they were interviewing a few people to find, you know, how they feel about the situation. And it was, I think it was the last person that was interviewed was a bus driver that actually gave information that shed light or gave some insight as to how that became. Okay, so he just simply said that, well, ever since the price of fuel doubled, it has affected every other thing. So I now understand, oh, this is the source of the whole thing. So the war going on between Russia and Ukraine is affecting a whole lot of things across the world. Ukraine is a big source, or sorry, the shore plot for wheat, supplying Europe and the rest of the world, and then Russia on this other side is the big plug for energy, and these are the two guys that in contention here, and of course many other things around all of those stuff going on out there. So it is not then you have internal situations happening in various countries, all right, contributing massively to poverty, lack and want, economic hardship and stuff like that. In other words, there is hardly locations in the world that can be singled out to say that these people are not in any way affected by everything that is going on. So by and large, across board, people are experiencing more financial difficulties, that is in terms of the general masses, because there is usually that group of people, some elitist select group of people, all right, who things don't usually affect in that regard at every material point in time. It's that they are benefiting from what is going on, or they prepared for it ahead of time, so they are not affected by it, whichever way it is. All right, but for the rest of the people, all over the world, more people have had to grapple with more levels of financial difficulties at individual and family levels across the world. So, which makes the conversation even more relevant, because now people need to get more and more enlightened as to what they can do in the midst of financial tough times in order to grow their personal economy.
Quite interesting. It's good to know that this is not just local. This is a global, based matter. Okay, so it's interesting to even know that that how far the ongoing war in Ukraine and Russia, in Ukraine, sorry, is affecting a whole lot of other things. So, Tony, what's your take on on this? You might want to lay background and probably just let's get to hear from you.
All right, guys. Francis Uka, can you?
Yes, sir.
Tony, I can't hear you.
Oh, from Francis Uka's face.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you.
Technical. I can't hear Tony. I don't know why.
But I can hear him.
You can hear him. Okay, Tony, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me now, Israel? Okay, Francis Uka was right on point, right? But prior to the war between Russia and Ukraine, the world economy actually began to suffer as far back as 2007, right? When we had the most recent economic crunch that hit the whole world, right? It was a credit crunch, it was a real estate crunch. It did affect a lot of economies, right? And so right about the time when economies were beginning to bounce right back, the corona pandemic hit, and set the world back again. So, and countries all around the world began to, suffer greatly economically. America suffered a great deal. I would actually say that the one country that didn't seem to suffer so much, as a matter of fact, it felt like everything worked to their favor, was China, the place the whole thing started, right? But China, being a very heavily industrialized country, kind of took advantage of the situation. China always was, the world's manufacturer, and so when the pandemic hit, it revealed a whole lot of things about the so-called first world. Many countries like America, came short of supplying something as simple as face masks, right? And so the face mask price globally went up because America could not meet its own internal demand. Europe could not meet their own internal demand. Africa, of course, could not meet their demand in any way, their internal demand in any way. And so economies began to suffer a great deal. Well, thank God the lockdowns and the pandemic measures have actually been scaled down a little bit, but it hasn't changed the fact that many people lost their jobs. Economies who depended on different resources, natural resources, suffered a great deal and just could not keep up. And so, yes, the pandemic has, the measures have been scaled down. Some countries are still on lockdown, but economies are still suffering. And so when economies suffer, citizens suffer as well. And as a matter of fact, the citizens suffer the most, because if these economies are not able to grow their GDP, they're not able to keep employing people, they're not able to sustain employment, and so a lot of people have to be laid off. And so as a result of the economic recession and the pandemic of the most recent times, many people lost their jobs. And so you find that families today are suffering. People can't pay school, families can't pay school fees, can't really feed the families, can't really meet the basic needs. And so we see that a lot of families are suffering as a result. Now, the big question is there a thing that we can do, to turn things around and to ensure, that both national, regional, and local economies, including families as well, can turn their economies around and begin to, live comfortably again? Yes, there are a number of things that we can do. And so that's why today we're talking about how to grow your personal economy.
Exactly.
Right? And yeah, so, and I'm glad to have our host, Israel Unya here, and my partner in the service of the Lord for so many years.
Divine ministry.
I'm really happy to have you here. And so, Francis, it's good to have you smile. Because I was for a minute. So really, yes. So that's what it is. We're going to talk about a few things that individuals and families can do to grow their personal economies and bounce right back from the negative effects of, economic downtime, right? Yep. So I'd like to say that number one, human development is key to solving this problem. And in our part of the world, human development is not something that is respected a great deal. Nigerians and especially Igbos do not place a high premium on human development. But actually, human development is key. Why I say it's key is that it is a fact that you are only limited to your purview. You're only limited to what you can do. You're only limited to what you're exposed to. So a person's ability to go beyond their immediate environment is also dependent on how exposed to other climes, like Francis Uka would always say climes, to other environments, So in essence, I'm saying that human development is very important, right? Now we live in a day where technology is playing a great role in business and successes in business, right? But you find that in this environment, skills are kind of outdated. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. Skills are sort of outdated. I give a typical example. Today, marketing is very, very important to any company or product to take them to market and ensure that these products become successful. But what you find in Nigeria is that the marketing that is mostly practiced in Nigeria today is marketing that was developed, 50, 60, 40 years ago, right? And so people who have been to tertiary institutions in Nigeria and have studied marketing are actually dealing with archaic principles of marketing, which has to do with billboards, conventional media, newspapers, and word of mouth marketing, right? But today, and in this technological age, you find out that marketing has actually taken a new turn, right? Yeah. Now, all the customers that any business requires to grow their business and take that business to success are on social media, right? Facebook has about 2 billion or more users. Instagram, the same thing. Twitter is much more, right? And so even though it looks like it's easier now to take any business to success, but we're not seeing that happen in Africa. And that is why African businesses are not seen to be taking advantage of this technology. Overseas, you have many unicorns in America, you have many unicorns in China, you have many unicorns in Europe, right? And you can actually count, on your 10 fingers how many unicorns we have developed in Nigeria. And if we haven't actually done that in Nigeria, most other countries in Africa are much worse, right? And by unicorns, I mean companies that have attained up to a $1 billion, a capital investment, right?
Yep.
And this is really because we're not leveraging on social media,
Yeah.
right? And so marketing is being practiced a cake way, the old way in Nigeria. But we need to have a paradigm shift where people need to learn how to find their customers on social media and effectively target them and move them from potentials to real paying customers. So that's the number one thing I think people should pay attention to, and then begin to acquire skills that allow them to effectively target their the market force on social media and begin to take advantage of these for their businesses. Francis Uka, would you agree with me on this?
Yeah, of course. The issue of human development is fundamental. It's fundamental to not just building a viable economy when the going is good. It even becomes more important in such tough situations like this. Amazingly, this is the time when most people tend to look away from human capital development. That is, they think that investment in self is secondary. Survival becomes primary. Yeah. So, and then they rush into quick gain schemes that most of them tend to lose at the end of the day. I don't know if you've noticed it. Most people never have any money until somebody comes to them and say, put XYZ money down and get XYZ money at the end of 30 days. Suddenly they have money. I don't know if you've noticed that pattern. Yeah,
That's
so because there's something there's an effect that the economic harshness has on most people who are financially naive. Yeah, and one of that the aftermath of that effect is the tendency to start looking for quick gain, anything to just make some more money from the little they have. So yeah, we are very much on point, Tony.
Okay, I appreciate that. So basically, it is key. It is important that people around here begin to learn, some modern skills that ensure that your business is profitable. And I would say that the lack of human development and acquisition of skills in these areas is affecting, family and personal economies, right? For example, we find that there are a number of ways, apart from what Francis Uka talked about, the different Ponzi schemes that Nigerians quickly subscribe to, right? There are a number of other things that most Nigerians hope for and hope on. And one is to become a politician, right? So we are currently in...
The most recent is being a delegate.
Yes, that's right.
People never knew there was so much money in delegacy.
It used to be until the change in policies, political, policies, and so all of a sudden it's become a way to make money. But anyways, most Nigerians now hope to become politicians, or travel overseas, or invest in any sort of get rich quick Ponzi schemes, right? And so you find that it's messing things up for us. We are we have just entered politics season, right? And so people are hoping to become delegates or run for one political office, or become an avid supporter of a political candidate, and hopefully have their candidate win, and then reap the dividends of so-called democracy at the end of the whole process, right? And so people that depend on these alone, to make a living and have a better future are hopeless people, right? There are many ways to make money. It's just that our people do not know about this. And so this is why we wanted to talk about this today. Now, I want to first of all talk about product development, right? Many Nigerians, we were talking a few days ago I was talking with a group of young men, right? And so they were talking about the present situation of things in the Southeast, where many young men are beginning to move away from the Southeast because of fear for their lives and the fact that the many sit-at-homes that we have are beginning to affect businesses and in turn, the regional economy. And so we have a sudden movement of young folks and businesses to the western part of Nigeria, right? And then somebody also talked about, the fear to return back to the Southeast and becoming incapacitated economically, being much more than the fear of dying in the North in the hand of Islamic extremists, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why people will continue to live in the North, even though they know, they could lose their lives in the process. And so I said it is very sad, and that this is simply because of the lack of these skills that we talk about. And so I said that many Igbo people who live in the North and actually believe that is the only way they can survive, just don't know that you can live in a place like in Enugu, manufacture in a place like China, and sell in a place like the US and make a lot of money. And it is a very process.
I want to slow down on that. How?
Yes, I will. But I'm trying to say it is a possibility. But again, if your skills are so limited to your purview, to your environment, to just what you've been taught here, what is customary here, then you don't know that these things are possible. That's why a person will live in northern Nigeria where his life is at risk, and then he continues to live there and not make any move. It's simply because he does not know that there are other possibilities, and in turn he's not taking advantages. So you have something we call Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA is a system that Amazon has, for people, no matter where you live in the world, right, to choose a particular product in a particular niche, and source this product, ship them to Amazon from anywhere in the world, right? Amazon takes delivery and then lists this product on their website and have people buy this product from all over the world, right? And so after Amazon sells the products, Amazon takes their commission and remits the rest to you, right? So basically, you do not have to worry about inventory, stock, delivery, how'd you call it now? Logistics. All you have to worry about is identify the product that you want to sell, right? Source the product, ship it to Amazon from anywhere in the world. You do not have to have a US visa to do this business. Ship it to Amazon. Amazon takes delivery, handles the logistics and sales. At the end of the day, you get a good chunk of money paid into your account, and you withdraw your cash in hard currency, in US dollars.
Must one be the producer of that product to be able to?
No, absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. So, but I just talked about Amazon FBA. But any individual can decide. There are two ways you can benefit from Amazon FBA. One, you can become, an Amazon FBA subscriber and handle your own logistics. That is to say, people go to Amazon, find your product, order it, right? But you will be the one to fulfill the orders. You will be the one to send out the goods to the customers, buying customer. On the other hand, you can decide not to worry about that and have Amazon handle, the logistics and delivery to the paying customers. And I would say that any sensible person would know that it takes a lot of stress out of you if you have Amazon handle that. But then any individual can take a cue from what Amazon is doing and do it for themselves, right? And that is to say, you mustn't register with the Amazon platform. You can set up your individual sales channel, right? A distribution channel, source your commodities from anywhere in the world, place them on your website, promote them through social media, have people pay for them, and then you fulfill your logistics. The point I'm trying to make here is that you do not, in this day of technology, high tech, you do not have to live in a place where you don't want to live because you only think that that's the only way for you to survive. That's the only way you can make money. So anybody can live anywhere in the world and sell to any market anywhere in the world and still receive their monies without stories. So that's just one example, right?
Okay, Tony, quickly, let's take some practical examples. Like what kind of products can one, run through Amazon FBA? Let's say we're here in Nigeria. What kind of products, local products can one, put out there?
Okay. There are a number of products that people can sell, from beauty care products to healthcare products to technological products to gadgets, to locally manufactured snacks and stuff like that. So there are a whole lot of things. They mustn't be made in Nigeria.
Oh,
right. They mustn't be made in Nigeria. That's why I said you can in Nigeria, source from China and sell in the US. Right. Okay. So there are a number of technicalities, but for our listeners, don't think it's difficult, because when you begin to talk about technicalities, people get scared, right? So don't get scared. You can take something as little as ori, okuma, shea butter, right? Yeah. Properly manufactured and sell them in the US. It's that simple, right? Let's say there's a product you use personally and this product is working very well for you, right? You could get an idea, oh my God, this product is really very good. I can actually sell this product to the US market, right? It could be hair cream. It could be a toothpaste, right? It could be a body lotion, right? It can be anything, but as long as you know it's a good product and then there's potential for that. Now, there are a number of technical tools that you can buy online, that helps you identify products that can sell efficiently anywhere in the world, right? But there is an easy way to find out what you can sell. That's what most people, that's a tool, another tool a lot of people use. If you go to your Google right now, and let's say you type shea butter on Google, right? Now, if you type shea butter on Google, you'll find out that somewhere on the top left-hand side of that page, you'll see the number of people searching for shea butter, right? And so that can give you an idea of how popular a product is, right? So like right now that I type shea butter on Google, I am seeing on the search result that in the last 0.72 seconds, 41 million people have searched shea butter from all over the world. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you that it's a product that a lot of people are looking for, right? That's right. So that if people in the last 0.72 seconds, 41 million people have searched for shea butter, that means it's a product that has a global demand, right? And so all you need to do is to find the best shea butter and the best packaged shea butter, source it, ship it to Amazon. But before you do that, you have to set up an FBA account, which is something that you need to learn how to do. But you see, Nigerians are very erratic. Many people will hear me right now and catch an idea like, oh my goodness, I want to make millions selling shea butter, right? And then, and then they go and start looking for money. But this is where human development comes in. This is where human capital development comes in. I've just given you an idea of one of the many ways you can make a whole lot of money. The next step will be for you to now sign up and learn this is done, so you can do it efficiently and become successful at it, right? Now, this is the one simple way you can do it, just by going to Google. But some professionals use some professional tools, that gives you real analytics in real time, that helps you choose what you can do. So I want to give you an example of a young man who's making, thousands of dollars, selling maps, just maps, right? So he went to China. He didn't have to go to China. There are a number of ways you can do that. You can go through
mops, like MOPS.
What's that?
Did you say mops?
No, maps. Like as in the global maps.
Like Nigerian map or African map.
Interesting.
The Atlas kind of maps.
Yes. Okay.
So you can formulate your own product. The products that you can sell on Amazon don't have to be products that are already made, right? They can be products that you have formulated yourself. It can be your invention, right? So this young man developed a map, right? That when you look at this map, you see like a black, beautiful, shiny map, you know, with all the borders on it. But then what this map does for you is that if you're a traveler, right, once you visit a country, you scratch out the black sealer on the map. So it's a scratchable map, right? So let's say I'm Nigerian and then I visit Venezuela, right? Once I visit Venezuela, that's a done deal. I go to the map and I scratch out Venezuela, and it reveals the whole of Venezuela and all the other, you know, internal boundaries on Venezuela. And so that's a done deal, right? And then tomorrow I visit Congo. I go, I scratch out the, you know, how do you call the films that you have on report cards, you know? You scratch it out and stuff like that. And so that's how you know the countries that you have visited and all of that, right? You can use it that way. So a traveler can use it. Somebody who's learning the map can also use it. So any country that you learn, you scratch it out. And so a lot of people found that very interesting. Yeah. And he went through Alibaba, or you can go through Alibaba or a Chinese site called 1966, right? And then you can order these things. You know, ordering it, there are particular skills on how to order these things and how to go about negotiations and eventually having your product delivered to you, and how to identify fraudsters, because there are a lot of, you know, Chinese fraud on this website. These are things you have to acquire skills on and how to do. But if you eventually acquire these skills, these are ways for you to sit at the comfort of your home and make millions of naira, you know, developing products in China and selling them anywhere in the world. It's not just the USA. Yeah. Right? So that's just one example. Now, I also want to talk about KDP. KDP is, you know, a Kindle. KDP is about publishing.
Sorry, Mr. Tony. Yes. Sorry, I want to deviate, okay? Well, not necessarily deviate, but to call us back to alignment, if you don't mind. I think that we can discuss myths of that is options of what people can do to build their finance. But if you notice in the trail of our thoughts, we are still on point number one as to the factors that people need to put into consideration. We are still on human capacity development. We are not talking about other things that people need to do to build their, to grow their economy. Okay, so I'm thinking we can stop that. Maybe for the purposes of this particular edition, then we can begin to roll out investment options, business, ideas that people can tap into to, make money. I don't know what do you think about that?
You're totally right. You're totally in order. But I just wanted to show 2 points of what is possible, and then we can now get to why people are not, get back to the point that people don't know that these things are possible because they lack the human capital development, which is still number one.
Okay.
So
quickly, before you continue, if you're watching us live and would like to maybe ask a question or be part of the conversation, I mean, this is an open studio. Okay, what you need to do is sign up on YuSocial.com/hotspots, like our page. You can also follow us, join our channel on YouTube, which is YuSocial. Okay, so that would allow you to be able to engage with us and also join us here in the studio. Okay, so Tony, go ahead.
Okay, so the 2 things that I mentioned about is the Amazon FBA and the Amazon KDP. That is, these are one of the many ways anybody anywhere in the world, including Nigerians, can make a whole lot of money. But you see, the things that I've mentioned now, I can guarantee you that 95% of Nigerians have never heard about these. And 95% of Nigerians do not know that these are possibilities. And so I am using that to prove the point that a lot of times People suffer because they just don't have the basic knowledge of what is possible, and not necessarily because the Nigerian economy is bad. Now, a lot of people cry about the Nigerian economy being bad, and that is the reason they don't have money. It's because they are tying their ability to make money to the Nigerian economy, and that is absolutely wrong, right? You can live in Nigeria and not live like Nigerians. You can live in Nigeria and live above the Nigerian economy. It is very possible. But 98% of Nigerians are tying their income earning processes to Nigeria. And that's wrong. That's wrong. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that a lack of human capital development is one of the reasons people don't make money. The other reason is that many people have a myopic vision. Myopic vision. Many Nigerians have a myopic vision, right? Many Nigerians are not thinking global. They are thinking local. As a matter of fact, many Nigerians are not even thinking national. They are thinking regional. They are thinking state. Oh, my area in Owani. Oh my goodness, who has ever made it in Owani? What can I do in Owani to make me wealthy? And so they look around and they can't find anything. They become very hopeless. And so the next thing they want to do is, okay, now the easy way for me to make money is to travel overseas. And before you know it, he raises 100,000 and then he hits the road on his way to Gao in how'd you call this country, Mali, on his way to Europe, you know. And many people have died on the way because of this, right? So a lack of vision is part of why many Nigerians do not make it. So you must expand your scope, expand your thinking. Think global. We advise in business that people must think global. Start small, but think global, right? As a matter of fact, if you begin to think global, what it will do for you is that it will make you to begin to research, you know, global businesses, global possibilities. And so when you begin to research global possibilities, some of the tools you can use will be make YouTube your friend, make Google your friend. You know, always ask Google that question: what are the businesses people can do, you know, globally? What are businesses people can do to make money in America? And so when you get these ideas, you can now tailor them to suit your environment, right? And so the inability to think wide and far is why many Nigerians are kind of myopic in their thoughts and in their money-making processes, and they find, you know, that the borders become a great limitation for them. And so I advise the people to think global, think global. I wanted to tell you guys a story, but I'll leave it for another time. So that's one of the problems, thinking ability, limitations in thinking ability, right? So people must increase their think. Now, reduce your time. People must reduce their time. It's a big problem. You find that a lot of young people today waste a lot of time on social media, waste a lot of time on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and funny enough, pornographic sites as well, right?
Yeah.
And so when
what do you think? I think that the main thing is not just wasting time on social media, but, you know, because there's even content, there are resource groups on social media. So I think it's just about the focus, you know. I'm ensuring that people actually spend time in the right groups, you know, even on Google, ensuring that they're asking the right questions, even on YouTube, ensuring that they are watching the right stuff, not watching skits. I mean, spending most of their data on skits and laughing and, you know, wasting time. So I think people need to really be focused, you know, and spend time on the right things. What do you think about it?
Yeah, we're saying the right thing, Israel. If they were doing the right things, then it wouldn't be called wasting of time. So if I said wasting of time, it's because they're not doing the right things.
Exactly.
So if they're wasting time on social media, that means they're watching skits, they're watching other people dance. And somebody actually said, you're wasting your time watching other people building their dreams when you could be using that time to build your dream.
Exactly.
Right? So if you're watching a skit, it's somebody's project that he put out there to make money from it. So he's making money and you're wasting your time, wasting hours, hundreds of hours watching them when you could actually be doing something useful for yourself, right? So you must reduce your time. First of all, you must set your goal and then put a timeline to it. And many Nigerians are not doing that. right?
Yeah.
Set your goals. Okay, I want to become the best hairdresser, in Nigeria, and I want to do that in the next 12 months. So what do I do to make sure that I become the best hairdresser in Nigeria in the next 12 months? Then you put a timeline to it, and then you write down the steps that you need to take to ensure that that happens, right? So if finding the current best hairdresser in Nigeria is one of the paths, I need to find him and learn from him. You write it down as number one. Number two, I need to spend, if he takes 4 hours to train people a day, I need to put like 2 extra hours to that. You write it down. So at the end of the day, you have like a checklist, that if you follow step by step and number by number, you can get there in 12 months. You write that down and ensure that you put a timeline down to the minute to that plan and follow it. So that if you are able to fulfill your timeline, at the end of 12 months, you actually find that you become the best hairdresser in Nigeria. So these are the kind of goal-setting skills that people must acquire. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I said
Yes.
that's like
I wanted to add to the point you are making.
Okay.
So first of all, the issue of the fact that a lot of people do not take calculated risks. Notice the operational word there is calculated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
because there are many people taking risks. A lot of those risks, very unreasonable risks, very unnecessary risks. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of times people use scarce resources to learn, the trade or the craft. By the time they finish learning, the money is gone. Yeah. So they are not taking calculated risks. They are not following, critical principles of investment. For instance, that if you're going to invest in something, you have to know something about what you're investing. You can't just put money in something you don't know how it works. You don't know how the people who are promising you whatever make the money. You don't know how the prospect that the opportunity holds, evolve. You have no idea whatsoever. You're just interested in the fact that if you put the money here and do this way, it will bring out this other money there, and then you jump into it. Now this is the sad part. You will see people that the same thing is working for, but it didn't work for you. So I think this is largely connected to the first point, which is the human capacity development thing. So a lot of people are not taking calculated risks, all right, and so they incur losses or they miss out on opportunities that would have otherwise impacted their economy positively. Then there is also the issue of mismanagement of funds. A lot of times the playing attack is not as difficult as playing defense. Many times people know how to make money. All right. I mean, hunger is a weapon lethal enough to drive you to go out there and make money. All right. Desire to have is a strong force. It makes your brain begin to think, and your eyes are open to recognize opportunities. But the challenge is more often than not, when the money comes in, what do you do with it? How do you manage money in such a way that it shows that that kind of money got into your hand? So you'll find that many people don't keep records of their expenses, so they don't even know that a large sum of money has passed through their hands within a short period of time. So because these things are not captured, they don't work with data, okay? They don't have any records anywhere. Now, if you want to see how far what I'm talking about is, you may not have those records, but just ask for your bank statement. Just go to your app. Now you don't have to go to the bank to do that. You can go to your app, your bank app, all right, and then request for your bank statement from January 01, all right, 2022, all the way to the end of May, all right, 2022, and it will amaze you. The cash flow that I need to see how much is passed through that account, and then you have to ask yourself, whoa, so what do I do with the money? Okay, so if you are able to take a step back and do that more, introspection, you'll begin to see that there are money management challenges, all right, loopholes, more money that otherwise would have been conserved left through And that, of course, impacts your personal economy negatively, even though you might not have been making it. So I just wanted to add those to the point that Tony is already making.
Okay,
Right.
so we about wrapping up. I mean, we about this is almost an hour. So let us quickly summarize on on our points. So Tony, in about 2 minutes, final words
Israel,
on.
sorry,
Yes.
before you continue, let me quickly run down and then we can begin to summarize, right? I'm not going to expound, just the points out there. So, so basically, the next on my list will be staying focused, right? It's part of what Francis Luca talked about, but people need to stay focused. People get distracted a lot. You see somebody put 6 months in a particular skill or in a particular business process, and all of a sudden he decides this is too hard. I need to change business. I mean, leave that and run somewhere else.
It's not making enough money.
That's again.
Yes, and then he leaves that and runs into something else, and 4 months later he abandons ship and somewhere else. A lack of focus. You will never amount to anything in business if you're not focused, right? Every business has a lifespan, right? So if you understand the lifespan of a business, or the minimal time you need to put in this business to be able to to get the milk out of it, then you will stay on course and not be distracted, right? Yeah, most businesses fail within the first year. If you understand that, then your goal should be to be in business longer than 1 year, right? Now, if you're able to make it beyond 1 year, then there's every chance that that business will succeed. Now, the next goal will be to ensure that you hit it to the 2 to 3 year mark, when most businesses will actually begin to break even. So if you don't understand this, you will not be able to stay focused, right? So you must understand the principles, the basic principles of business, and the the time span, of profitability in business. And so when you understand it, then it helps you to stay focused and not, continue to run around. So people must follow the money, not just the hustle. I'm working hard, right? And so you see, somebody said that if this money is made by working hard, then nobody will be wealthier than the barrel pusher in the market, because they work the hardest.
That's true.
So it's not just about working, busy doing nothing. It's about following the money. You must learn to identify where the money is, and then put your effort in following the money, right? And one of the easiest ways, I must tell you, one of the easiest ways to follow the money is to make sure that you are giving value, right? Many people are doing business just to do business and actually not thinking about the people, the demography that the business is supposed to be serving. You must think about your customer. Who are my customers? What's their way of their line of thought? How do they think? And what are they looking
buyer persona?
What?
It's called having a buyer persona.
That's right. So you must understand your customer and how you can serve them. It is by giving them value that you make money. Business is a barter, right? You give value for one value for another value. In the case of business, you're giving a business service as one value, and they're giving you their money in exchange, which is another value. And so if you ensure that you have a good value that is in demand, and you're offering that value, you will always make money. So follow the money, not just the hustle. Stack and pack, right? Get it, put it, generate a lot of income, as much income as possible. Most Nigerians, I say this, and I'm going to use my Igbo brothers to give this example. Me and Francis, we talked about this many times on radio. How many Igbo businesses are not able to move from one generation to another because of a simple, a basic tradition that Igbos have of December. Not December. We must go home in December. So you find an Igbo man work hard from January to November, work extremely hard, because the hardest working people you have in this country are Igbo people. I'll tell you that any day. Now, but you find an Igbo man work hard from January to November, and the last week of November, he goes and acquires a brand new car, tries to finish the building he did not finish 4 years ago, and then makes sure that he has a whole lot of things that he's going to show off in the village, right? And then you find that he takes all his sweat put profit and capital, and he squanders it in November just for December, to show off in December. And so at the end of December, this is why people say that January is the longest month of the year. He doesn't have money for school fees. He doesn't have money to do his business. He starts all over again. And that is the reason a lot of people's personal and family economies are depleted every year. You must understand that no matter what happens, you must not spend your capital. You must not touch your capital. And even though your business makes profit in the year, that is not yours to spend. You must cultivate the habit of plowing back your profit. That is the fastest way to grow any business. I give you a simple analogy. You start a business with 50,000. You go and buy a couple of shoes from Aba or anywhere, and then you come to Enugu, and then after selling the 50,000 worth of shoes, you make a profit of 30,000. What most people would think immediately is, wow, I have 30,000 of my own. I go buy shoes, I go buy phones and all of that. What you do when you deplete the 30,000 is that you're back to 50,000, and you repeat the process again. You see, where you could have gone to market with 80,000, and you limited yourself again to 50,000. And so if you plow back your 30,000 into the business, now your working capital would have been 80,000. You do the process, you get more commodities, you sell them, and you're now at 110 or probably 130. What you've done is that in a simple 6 months, you've grown your business from 50,000 to 80,000, and you do the process, and in a simple 7 months, you have a chance to grow your business from 50,000, to a share capital of 120,000. That is one thing even people must learn, to plow back their business until you bring that business to a point where you can comfortably say that I have broken even. And so if I take a certain amount out to put in something else that doesn't have to do the business will continue to do well. So you must stack and pack, and that has to do with money, right? Okay. So I will stop right there and have you guys weigh in on the matter.
Thank you so much, Tony. So, Sir Francis, any final words on how to grow your personal economy before we shut down?
Yeah. Okay, so just to add something to what Tony said, some of the things that we have discussed on radio, again, I'll go back to our Igbo brothers. The fact that many times these people don't recognize the power of system as a means of making the business an entity of its own and not solely and totally dependent on the business owner. Okay, they struggle with detaching themselves from the business and allowing the business, to exist as an entity of its own, and then run by proper structures and systems such that they exalt the management policies in the business above the essence in the business. They are usually, sometimes we can subscribe to some of these things, but we will not allow the system to run without undue interference. Okay, so this is basically what it's part of what Tony just said now. This is basically what a lot of people do in the place of business that stunts the growth and subjects the business and of course the business owner to financial struggles and economic hardship. To the prevalent economic situation such that the person is being affected negatively. So I guess we will have a lot more to talk about in the next edition. And then of course now we get to discuss ideas, options that people can take in order to begin to break in, to begin to recover from the economic struggles or challenges that you might be going through or be having at the moment.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'd like to appreciate these two gentlemen for gracing the first edition, main edition of Hotspot. So I thank you so much. So we will talk about, we'll move this forward in the next episode. So if you're watching us live, or you're seeing this video later, anytime, and you want to be part of what's going on, simply sign up on YuSocial. That's at YuSocial.com. You can see the link scrolling by. YuSocial.com/hotspot. Go to our page where you get to see all our videos and join the conversation. Okay, so we will have to shut down at this point. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being on Hotspot. Okay, so we'll get to see you at the next episode. So have a beautiful evening, everyone, and please keep building your personal economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.